I want to tell you the story about how I came up with the idea to make bears' prayers. At Revelation 1:6, it says that he has made us to be kings. So, that being the case, I considered it prudent to obey the command given to the king in Deuteronomy 17:14, where it is written, when you come into the land which Yahuwah the Mighty Creator has given you, and you possess it and dwell in it, and say, I'll put a king over me like all the nations that are around me. Then the instruction is to the king in verse 18 and 20 of chapter 17. When he sits on the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write for himself a copy of this law in a book from the one before the priest. So he's got to write out his own copy. So this is me sort of doing this instruction as far as if I'm going to be made into a king, then I should also write for myself my own copy. And it shall for the priests and the Levites, and it shall be with them. He shall read it all the days of his life. They may learn to fear Yahuwah the Mighty Creator. Be careful to observe all the words of this Torah and these statutes. There's something important. Don't miss the statutes. That his heart may not be lifted up above his brethren. So when we study the Torah, then that keeps us humble, that he may not turn aside from the commandment to the right hand or the left, that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, and he and his children in the midst of Yasharel. So, studying this word is going to preserve the kingdom of the king. So, I broke that passage down in the lexical aids and reconstructed it in Bear's prayers in my version of Devarim, which is Deuteronomy, and found out that they'd failed to bring out all the meaning in the underlying Hebrew words. So I reconstructed my amplified version, and I read it aloud to myself as follows. So this is me doing John chapter 12, verse 48. It says I'm supposed to seize this word, claim it, and make it my own, and not let it go. So that's kind of my version of what I found hiding in the Greek in John 12:48. So when I sit on my throne, I write for myself a copy of this Torah. See, I have it as I sit on my royal throne. I write for myself. So I turn it into first person. Me doing it. That is what was before the Levitical priests. And I keep it with thee and read aloud to myself from it all the days of my life. See, read aloud to myself from it is something I found hiding in the Hebrew that they didn't bring out. The reading aloud is really vital. Joshua chapter 1, verses 5 through 8, where it says to meditate on this word, it's telling us that we should speak it aloud, mutter it. And then, by doing so, I learned to stand in the awe of Yahuwah my Mighty Creator by keeping all the words of this Torah and these statutes and doing them. That's the same thing that it says in Joshua chapter 1, that when we meditate on this word, we do not let it depart from out of our mouth, that we might observe to do all that is written therein. And so, my mind and heart are not lifted up above my brethren. I did not turn aside from the commandment to the right hand or the left, so that I may continue long, me and my sons and my kingdom in Yasharel. So, what's in this stack of Bear's prayers? The 5 books of the Torah, Psalms, Proverbs, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, Book of Revelation, big chunks of Isaiah, and lots more. And all of these have footnotes of what Yahuwah has brought to my attention as I read. Some of the books have hundreds of footnotes. Someone called these footnotes the frosting. And so whenever I do this, look this up and find out there's more than what was translated, I incorporate what I find into my new version. I've been working on this for 8 years. Probably 8, 9, 10 years.